Well, got to do something because railroads haul about 40% of the nation's freight each year. That means a strike could cost our economy some $2 billion a day, not to mention the hundreds of thousands of jobs that could be lost as manufacturers who rely on the railroads shut down. One report estimates there would need to be about 500,000 additional trucks on the road every day to handle everything railroads deliver. Gene Marks, a small business expert and president of the Marks Group. Gene, thank you very much for joining us. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Sorry to bring you on with such bad news looming for our economy. How significant would this be if they cannot reach a deal?
It's very significant, Griff. You were the one that just mentioned the cost per day of $2 billion a day. Some estimates can go up as high as $91 billion a day just because of the loss of agricultural goods and food spoilage. Griff, it's all about inventories. Most businesses have 2 or 3 days worth of inventory, particularly their raw materials, to manufacture products. So you have a big disruption in the rail. That impacts businesses from the chemical industry to consumer goods to retailers to the auto industry. It just has an enormous impact among everyone that's working in those industries, as well as people trying to get to work in those industries as well. So it would have a devastating impact on the country if this railroad strike went through.
Those are astounding numbers. Just short answer, Gene. Do you think they're going to get an agreement?
It is like you had said earlier in the report. You've got 4 unions that are right now, that are contesting it. No other union is going to cross their lines either. So we could have a problem on December 9th. Having said that, there is some good news, and the good news is this: considering the fact that our freight railroads carry 40% of our, of goods through this country, Congress would probably intervene in such a situation. There is a law that dates back to 1926, which gives unions less power in going on strike. And if necessary, Congress would jump in and make them adhere to a contract, at least while they are negotiating and figuring things out. So that would be my bet. Unfortunately, though, Congress being what Congress is right now, there's no guarantees that will happen.
We'll be watching that December 6th, the deadline there. Meanwhile, let's move to another topic. The president's move to extend the student loan payment pause is drawing more backlash. A New York Post op-ed called it profoundly unjust and cravenly political. The nonpartisan Committee for a Responsible Budget slammed it as inflationary and canonically unjustified. It estimates it could cost taxpayers another $40 billion. That last part, a real kick, an extra $40 billion. Look at that. You can see there the extension is going to cost American taxpayers again, Gene.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, Griff. I mean, listen, as a father of 3 who worked hard to pay for my kids to go through college, and I know many other people that are in that same situation, it is a very unfair thing to not only delay these loan payments, but also delaying it for the wrong reasons. Most people understand that during the pandemic, delaying these loans were necessary for people to get by. But for the umpteenth time, we're now having a delay until the Supreme Court actually looks at the president's loan forgiveness proposals to see if it's even constitutional. So now instead of delaying these loan payments to help people pay, we're now delaying these loan payments to help people not pay their student loans. It is purely political, and it's a little frustrating. Griff, can I say one thing, though? Putting aside all the student loan stuff, I mean, listen, my company serves small and mid-sized businesses. One of the pandemic rules that did pass a year or so ago was it does allow employers who want to help their employees with their student loans to get a tax deduction for doing that, up to like $5,200. And that's for principal and interest on a loan. So that's a good thing. Regardless of how loan forgiveness goes, we are telling our clients, and if you're running a business, you might want to consider that as a benefit to your employees to help them get out from underneath these student loans. It's a great benefit to provide. And the government will give you a tax deduction through 2025.
Here's the problem, though, with all of this, Gene. If your client were a college or a university, what would you be advising them? That the loan repayment plan that the president's doing is a good thing for them?
Oh, my God, please don't get me started on how our higher education system benefits from all of this. Clearly, by forgiving these loans, all we're doing is we're opening it up for the universities then to be able to continue their tuition spiraling and their overall bureaucratic practices. where people are just going to be getting more loans in the future instead of addressing the systemic issues in the higher education system, which is hugely high overhead structures that are contributing to the high tuitions that most of us are, and people wanting to send their kids to college have to pay. So just forgiving the loans doesn't solve this problem. It's just basically a favor to the higher education industry. And it's just going to be a continuing problem for those that want to send their kids to colleges and universities for many years to come.
Sorry, Gene, I already got you started. Now you can take it to the Thanksgiving dinner table, and your guests and family will blame me for getting you all fired up. Gene Marks, happy Thanksgiving.
You put me in a bad mood already, Griff.
Have a great Thanksgiving, my friend.
You too. Take care.